Good morning, everyone. This is Urmila Chanam, social worker and activist from Manipur, signing in from Imphal, the capital city of this beautiful northeastern state of India. Today, I thought that there are so many things I want to talk about, and writing was not possible, typing was not possible. So I take this opportunity, and I'm going to take long, and there are so many things in my mind, and I hope I remember to communicate everything. Now, COVID is going on, and it has affected the entire world. And we know that India is the second worst impacted country. Every part of India is affected. We have seen videos coming in from Uttar Pradesh of dead bodies along the river, along Ganga and Yamuna. We have seen Reuters pictures. We have seen the debate going on about how the official numbers are much lesser than the number of casualties which are actually taking place in real. But then I am going to discuss about what is going on here in Manipur. From tomorrow, we have complete curfew in Manipur because Delta variant cases have increased. And this is not the first time that a complete curfew is imposed in a part of India, but the case of Manipur is so unique, and I want to discuss how it is unique. Manipur actually is a poor state. There are many people who are proud of being Manipuris, people who take pride in their history and culture, and it may hurt them to hear me say that Manipur is a very poor state. But as a social worker, there are indicators of assessing poverty, and I see massive poverty in Manipur because Manipur has seen militancy and insurgency for decades. And because of the armed conflict which has been going on since so many years, 70, 80 years, even more than that, what has happened is investment from other sector other than the state government and center has not happened here. There are no industries that we see across India. There is nothing except for government jobs and some petty jobs, and very few people who are engaged in these jobs, and a large segment or majority of the people are underemployed or are doing very petty jobs to earn a livelihood. In fact, it is in Manipur that you will see an IAS officer, an IPS officer, or a central government officer whose mother is a vegetable vendor, which indicates that there is complete lack of employment, and that mother who has either sold a handloom in the market or sold vegetables and done very small jobs all her life to educate her children and mentored them to reach that position. So that is the condition of Manipur, and the ability of people to pay for their treatment, to pay for transportation to go to the facility, to be able to buy protective gear to keep themselves safe during COVID is so limited in Manipur. Like I told you, this society has got such contrast existence of those who are rich and those who are poor. This place that I'm sitting in is a pond, and this locality is where I live. It is called Chanampukri Mapal. It is in Singjamai of Imphal, and each laikai has about 100 to 200 households. This is a kind of settlement pattern which is very rare, because in urbanized India we have wards and then households. That is how things are divided. But here in Manipur we have a laikai in addition to wards, which is made of households, and each laikai has got a formal regulatory authority that we call the community club, which has adults, seniors, as well as the youth. The women play a big role in this laikai club. And this is the Laikai Club. You see there a small building over here. This is the Laikai Club of Chanampukrimapal Singjamai, and this plays a great role in mobilizing and regulating things in this community of 100 households. Likewise, the entire Imphal has got different laikais, and during the COVID time I found that it is not just the state government and civil society and other stakeholders which are working in mobilizing vaccination, testing, relief given to COVID impacted homes, even communication from the government. This locality club, Laikai Club, plays a great role. In fact, there are 10 to 20 active youth members of this Laikai Club, and I have witnessed how they use speakers in the morning or in the evening to communicate about who has become COVID positive, what kind of support is required, what are the steps and SOPs that they have to follow, and key critical information regarding COVID relief and treatment. So this is really unique, and this runs across Imphal. Now, the thing that I've noticed is these people are not compensated in any way. They're community people, and they're doing it out of sheer love for their community and their responsibility. They are not people from the government department on payrolls or from an NGO or any development partner. No, they are just ordinary people who are doing this day in, day out. And for that reason, I have started a donation drive where I'm asking, in fact, I'm begging people to donate money so that I can procure protective gear for these Laikai task force, COVID task force frontline workers, these community volunteers across Imphal. And I've started with a target of 100 volunteers, but I know it is not sufficient because there are so many Laikais, and everything that we require during COVID time cannot necessarily come from the government, because government is also stretched beyond anything. And then people have a lot of resources, and I'm not asking for a lot of money here. I'm not asking people to give thousands of their hard-earned money or lakhs, but I'm asking for 950 rupees per community volunteer. The kit has got 5 N95 medical grade masks, a Dettol of 500 ml, a bottle of Dettol 500 ml, 5 hand sanitizer bottles of 50 ml each, and a face shield. And I'm sure that protective gear will help them to protect themselves while they are implementing their essential, most important, life-changing, life-saving role. And additionally, it also serves to encourage them and to acknowledge their role in Imphal. This is about Imphal. There are so many other things that I want to talk about Imphal, and I'm sure in a Facebook Live on a subsequent day I'll be able to share that. But for now, I think this is enough. From tomorrow we have total curfew here, which means even the shops will not be open, and people moving around will not be possible. And I don't know how things are going to pan out, and how things are going to be for people who are so poor here. Very few people are working in the government sector and have income of their own. A massive chunk of them are actually reliant on small petty jobs and selling things in the market, and with the lockdown the market is closed. I have seen families who don't have money to buy food. I have seen families who have lost jobs, and most of all I have seen helpless people. It is not that they don't know what the SOPs of COVID are. It is not that they don't want to acknowledge that there is a COVID positive person in the house and all the rest of the people are supposed to go for testing. What is happening here, I observe, is there is a miscommunication going on, and people are so poor, the income is so limited. When they are falling sick, they are worried about what will be the cost of testing, vaccination, about the treatment in hospitals, whether they will have access, whether whether they will be allowed entry to these hospitals. So because of this lack of information, people are not coming forward and saying that they are COVID positive. They would rather stay in their homes and do what little they can, which is allowed by their economy, and they would rather die in their homes than come outside and agree and admit that they are poor and they cannot afford to go for treatment and all these services. I really recommend that the government and whoever is working in this area communicates that vaccination is totally free of cost and they will not be charged anything for it. I really hope that communication goes that 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees, 6,000 rupees is what a person in a hospital will pay, or even more. The message that I'm trying to tell is the amount of different slabs of treatment. This kind of information should be given freely every time the government and communicators express a kind of SOP, and then people, I'm sure, will come forward and manage their resources. Right now what is happening is nobody knows how much of cost is involved in going to a facility for testing, and then after testing, if they become positive, what is the next step? Everybody feels helpless, uninformed, and when in such a situation, when there is lack of information, what will happen is people will choose to die in peace. Poverty and helplessness during pandemic is something that we all have to consider. It is not a medical crisis going all over the world. It is an instance in history where poor people have to choose between treatment and embarrassment. It is like me going to a market with my daughter and not having sufficient money in my purse and not knowing what is the next step that I will do. But if I am informed about what are the costs in advance, then I get to decide whether I want to go there or not. I urge everyone to donate to Urmila Chanam. This is a personal request. I'm begging everyone, if you're listening to this video from any part of the world, please show me some generosity and donate so that I can provide these masks and protective gear for these local community volunteers of this state, Manipur, which has got rampant poverty, partly because of years of armed conflict, no industry, and not much of infrastructure and investment from the center. Things are improving over the years, but we have a long way to go. In fact, somebody shared with me a news that railway lines are soon going to reach Manipur till Tamenglong. They were earlier till Jiribam in Manipur, and now they're going to come further inward to Tamenglong. And momentarily I was happy, but when I was discussing with a social activist friend of Nigeria, she pointed out something which I had overlooked, and she said that what is there to celebrate that railways is coming to Manipur after 74 years of independence? It is a matter of shame that for so many years mainland India and the government of India has neglected Manipur's connectivity, neglected Manipur's people, Manipur's interest and welfare. But we have to look forward and we have to do little things that we can. I know there are many politicians and leaders. I know there are many moneyed philanthropists, and there are big organizations and brands which are spending lakhs of rupees in relief material in Manipur and Imphal. They are giving off ration to homes which are affected by COVID, and they're giving oxygen cylinders to people who require that kind of support. They are doing their part, but I believe that I may not be able to reach their level of in terms of money, but each one of us has to carry the yoke of responsibility of being a citizen. Even if I can mobilize support from other parts of India and other parts of the world, and I can channelize to people of Manipur who are poor and helpless, I feel that I have done my part. I also encourage you to not look at how much or how less resources you have, but if you can do something for your community now when humanity requires it, I think that is what matters. An MLA can spend rupees 7 lakh a day for giving relief material to his constituency. But for me as a social worker, what counts more is how a woman from Pune, Maharashtra, who has never been to Manipur, has donated so that people in Manipur can be protected during COVID. For me, it is important that the public prosecutor of Meghalaya is not thinking about of only supporting his community people, but has contributed to my fund to procure masks for Laikai task force in Manipur. For me, the Delhi entrepreneur who has never been to Manipur, he contributing so that masks can be bought to protect volunteers in Manipur. That has got much more significance, importance and joy than the money that the politicians are pumping in to win their constituency and have political gain. Let us just look for humanity gain for each one of us, which impacts us irrespective of which community we belong, because Manipur needs it now the most. So this is Urmila Chanam. I'm an ambassador of World Pulse and I have 2 decades of experience of working in community development across India, Asia and Africa. You can trust me with your hard-earned money and I will ensure that your money will go to what it was, the motive with which it was sent, and together we can make this life a beautiful life for someone who may actually fall sick if not for us. Thank you for watching this video, and this is Chanam Pukrimapal, a Laikai community of 100 households in Singjamai constituency in Manipur.